Continuing where last session left off. The party leaves the gypsy camp at Sir Paul, and gets info from Christoph about directions to Vallaki. On the way, the party see a plot of graves, where Grease promptly runs off into. Party follows and sees Grease digging holes in some of the shallow graves while Zeton helps him out. After some time, party continues and stops at a body of water west of a bridge with gargoyle statues. Party fills up jugs with water from the quarry, and move on to next crossroads. One path goes to Ravenloft Castle, which the party decides to definitely avoid. The other way leads to giant gates with headless statues that they appear to be exiting. They are about to make camp at the gates, when mist starts rolling in, bats starts flying above, and howls can be heard. Ismark wants to keep moving. Continuing through the forest, the party comes upon an old windmill and seeks shelter inside. They find the windmill belongs to old Lady Morgantha. The sweet smell of pastries blends horridly with a stench that burns your nostrils. Shrieks and cackles from somewhere higher up cause the old mill to shudder. Morgantha says she lives there with her two sisters and offers the party one of her pies. Cog accepts the offer. Morgantha proceeds to reach into the fiery oven with her bare hand and grabs a pie unscathed and gives it to Cog. Party spends the night at the windmill, and sleeps on the first and second floors, unknowns to them what lies on the floors above. The night goes by and Cog and Edric are affected by with tossing and turning bespectacled by unknown forces. Upon trying to exit the next morning, conflict arises with distrust against Morgantha. Grease insists she bring down her sisters and two additional old crones, one with green skin come down. Morgantha brings Edric close and asks for his hand, which Grease distrusts as a hostile act and fires his sling at her. She waves a finger and fires magic missile damage at Grease. This creates more questions and the party decides to hightail it out of there. Continuing, the party makes it to Vallaki and enters the tavern. Cog meets a young noble named Rollo Wapta and upon learning of Cog's forging abilities, the young noble challenges Cog to a forge-off to make the best helmet in which the loser must offer themselves to the winner. Seeing as it is still the middle of the day, the party continue going through town, led by Grease that day and walks by a groaning decrepit house. They continue walking even as they exit the north gate in town. They stumbled up a lake that is perfectly still and dark, reflecting the black clouds overhead like a monstrous mirror. Grease thinks this might be the lake referred to in his card reading. At Lake Zarovich, along the shore are three small rowboats. A fourth boat can be seen in the middle of the lake, with a lone figure sitting in it, fishing pole in hand. The stranger in the boat looks to toss a large bag into the lake, and as the stranger heaves the bag, Cog is able to perceive the bag moving. Cog calls out to the stranger and the stranger ignores him altogether. Party decides to investigate this and takes two of the small boats. One boat holds Grease and Zeton, while the other boat holds Cog, Thotham, and Edric. Both proceed to row out to the fisherman to where he dropped the bag. Zeton jumps in the water to recover the bag and at the same time a large shadow appears to the north. Party sees this, leading to Cog, Edric, and Thotham deciding to row back to shore and watch in waiting to see what events unfold. In the struggle underwater, the monster enthralls Zeton and casts a cloud of mucus around him that somehow allows him to breathe and proceeds to take off with Zeton in his tentacles. Grease sees this and after coming up for air goes to the fisherman for questions. The ashen-haired old fisherman says he was just here for the fish and that what he threw overboard was an offering to Darfish named Umkasa. Grease does not like this and upon a fight, the two row back to shore. The party questions the fisherman who we find out is named Bluto. Bluto speaks in monotone and eventually says that inside the bag that he threw overboard was a girl. This starts to seem like a sacrificial offering and Grease blames Bluto for getting his friend Zeton taken. Bluto shows no emotion or care about the matter which infuriates Grease. The gnome suggests to Cog that, in order to get their friend back they should try offering the giant fish creature another body. Seeing as the old man basically just committed the murder of a young girl, Grease says it's only right that the party sacrifice Bluto. Cog ponders this and while it makes sense, he is unable to take the life of the old man. Grease proceeds to shake his head and says he'll do what must be done to save Zeton. The gnome casts sleep on Bluto and proceeds to take out his flute. He breaks the flute off in a way that turns the instrument into a sharpened weapon. While Bluto sleeps, Grease drives the flute dagger into the old man's throat. This wakes up Bluto immediately, as he bleeds from the jugular. Bluto attempts to cover his throat and grabs a nearby tree branch to defend himself. A small one-sided fight ensues and Grease promptly ends the old man. Grease drags Bluto's body onto a boat and asks Cog to help him row back out to the lake center for the sacrifice attempt. Cog is not exactly okay with what has just occurred, but seeing as this might be their only chance to get Zeton back, he agrees to help row the boat. Grease, Cog, and the freshly dead body of Bluto arrive at the lake center. Grease makes a persuasive call to Casa to take this offering of the old man's body in exchange for the fish coming back and returning Zeton. The plan partially works, because Casa does indeed return. The boat is pulled down. Casa is able to enthrall Grease to worship him. Cog is unaffected and sees Grease in a trance. Quasia releases a mucus cloud, which Grease breathes in willingly. Cog holds his breath and deceives the creature into thinking he is also under Quasia's control like Grease is. It works, but Casa takes both individuals in his tentacles off across the lake. Running out of breath, Cog struggles and the ruse is over as Casa realizes this mentally probes Cog. Cog is forced to remove his armor underwater in an attempt to swim up for air. The session ends as Casa takes off in the same direction with Grease and Cog in his grasp.